Mr. Edmonds, tell us your full name and who you're with.
Yes, sir. My name is Joshua Edmonds. I'm the Executive Director of Georgia Life Alliance. We are the largest pro-life group in Georgia and the state affiliate to National Right to Life.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, for all of your time and your wisdom on this legislation. As you heard, this is a fairly straightforward piece of policy that is intended to shore up a line of code that would clarify the circumstances of which a do not resuscitate order could be placed in the medical file of a minor patient. And you all, it sounds like, obviously have a very good handle on the mechanics of that and the placement of that and the structure for that. I wanted to take an opportunity to share with you Simon's story. Because as we often see in these committees, we're talking about policy that has mechanical legal implications, but they come from very real life situations and stories. And the reason this bill is titled Simon's Law is because it is inspired by a very real story of a young boy named Simon Crozier. And his mom sent a letter here to your committee, I believe is in your folders, but she wanted to ensure that I conveyed her gratitude for your considering this legislation, which actually was approved unanimously by the Judiciary Committee in the House last year, as well as passing out of the Senate unanimously. It was just a matter of timing with the pandemic getting out of rules by day 40. But Simon was born in 2010, and his parents were elated that they finally had their sweet baby boy. And it became clear quickly that Simon had some medical complications. He had a cleft palate, and he also had Edwards syndrome, as you heard. And that typically comes with a long road of heart surgeries to ensure that he will be able to live a long, healthy, happy life. And it is not a condition that renders a person beyond hope. It is not a fatal diagnosis. It is just one that requires that our families and medical professionals continue fighting for those who are afflicted by it. And unfortunately for Simon, just a couple of days before his pre-op appointment was scheduled in December of 2010, his oxygen levels dropped too low. And his parents began asking for the medical professionals in the hospital to help, to render aid. And they said, there's nothing we can do. This is the end. Enjoy the little time we have left. And there was no call to provide care. There was no code blue called. Simon passed away. And his parents learned tragically shortly after his passing that it was only because there had been a DNR placed in his medical file without their knowledge or consent that it happened. And had they been consulted, they would have not agreed with placing the DNR in his file, that they would have encouraged that they continue fighting. And like so many others who've been diagnosed with trisomy 18, Simon may very well be with us today, continuing to walk that long path to recovery, to full strength, but he would have been with us. And it was because of seemingly innocuous lines of code like this that permitted the situation to come to be. And so Simon's mom, Cheryl, has made it her mission to help ensure that this never happens to any other family again in any state in our country. This was signed into law in Missouri several years ago. And this we've gotten right to the finish line here in Georgia to ensure that this never happens in our state again, to ensure that we protect patient rights, that we put in our code that the Georgia legislature believes that we should continue fighting for those who are medically infirm, who are facing these difficult diagnoses. And that is the burden before this committee today, is to join alongside those who are lending their voice to say that we're going to ensure that there's no more Simons, not in Georgia, not on our watch. And we're so honored to be a voice for Simon and his family. We're honored that this body has approved this legislation before, and we're honored to stand before you today to lend our support as well as the support of National Right to Life for Simon's Law today.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edwards. We got